How's it going, guys? Obviously another lockdown, no nut November. I mean, I'm struggling for motivation here, but what can I do? What?
But what, champ? Let's go! You're gonna do it or no? Get up, champ, get up!
I'm up.
Let's go! That's it!
Freezy workout!
Let's go!
Freezy, baby! Freezy, baby!
And now, look at me. You're gonna do what I'm gonna do, right? Look! Get out there! Look! Count it! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go! Go!
Freezy!
Go!
1!
2!
Freezy gonna kill me! No!
5! Yes! Now you wanna do it or no?
I'm in, let's go!
Now you're talking. 6! Better. Action! Go!
Let's do this, people, I'm ready!
Now you're talking.
Thank you, Freezy. I feel ready now for another episode of No Cap Recap. We'll be looking back at what happened in November, looking forward to what happens in December. But we've got to say a massive shout out to our good friends at Thebxnco, the athlete's choice for mental performance and brain health. Absolutely amazing products, and make sure you check these people out. What an absolute brilliant month November was. Obviously, there were some great fights in MMA, great fights in boxing, but we're not going to speak about all of them. We're not going to bore you with all of them. I mean, could speak about, Jacobs and Rosado, but, we don't want to put you guys to sleep, so we're not going to speak about that one, even though, it should have been one of the fights of the month. We are going to start with MMA, people, and 3 fights we're going to look at. We're going to look at Felder versus RDA. We're going to look at Figueiredo versus Perez, and Thebxnco versus Jennifer Maia. So let's get into it. Felder took the fight on 5 days' notice. 5 days. He had to cut 25 pounds in 5 days. I can't even cut 25 pounds in 1 year, so I don't know how he managed to do that. That's crazy. What a warrior he is. But RDA got the unanimous decision. No, it wasn't unanimous. It was split. Should have been unanimous. Don't know what the judges are doing in Vegas at the moment. No one knows. But RDA moved back to 155 and looked absolutely brilliant. Then he called out, guess who? Conor McGregor. They all do it. If you're in his weight class, you're going to call him out. We'll see if he gets his red panty night or not. We'll see. Then we got Figueiredo, the God of War, versus Perez. The 125-pound division in UFC was this close to being shut down. This close. Now it's one of the best divisions in the world. Figueiredo has taken this division by storm. 4 fights this will be in 1 year for him. So far he's won 3. 2 against Joseph Benavidez and this absolutely masterful guillotine win against Perez. The guy is going from strength to strength and I don't know who's going to stop him. And then I finish with Jennifer Maia taking on Valentina the Bullet Thebxnco. What a performance by Thebxnco again. I mean, we were sitting here as fans thinking she's lost 1 round. She still won 4 rounds to 1, but she lost a round. That's how great she is. We get excited when she loses a round. We think it's a close fight. In reality, it wasn't close. It wasn't close at all. Valentina Thebxnco moves on in the 125 division and she just shows why she's so dominant. Technical ability, ground game, submissions, striking. She's got it all. I tell you one thing, I wouldn't want to fight her, so best of luck to whoever takes her on next. And on to boxing, the sweet science, and what a month November was. And it started off with a phenomenal fight. Crawford versus Brook. And going into the fight, everyone kept on saying, well, Spence, he dealt with Brook. Can Crawford do the same? Can Crawford's power transfer to a big, strong welterweight like Kell Brook? Guess what? The pound for pound king answered all those questions and then some. Don't get me wrong, Kell Brook started the fight brilliantly, popping off the jab, throwing the straight right. Crawford really didn't have any answer for him in the first 3 rounds, and then he does what he does. He switches it on like a real champion, and the shot he caught him with was a half jab, half hook, and he just sent Kell flying across the ring. Like, we don't see Kell get bashed about like that. Golovkin couldn't do that to him. Spence couldn't do that to him. Sean Porter couldn't do it to him. Crawford could. And after this victory, there's only one fight we really want to see. Now, obviously, there's going to be Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. He's got to get through that fight. But if he gets through that fight, there's only one fight to make in the welterweight division. Let's do it. Spence versus Crawford. It has to happen. Pound for pound king against a player in the welterweight division that everyone considers the weight bully. Let's make it happen. It's got to happen. Now we'll quickly touch on Conor Benn versus Formella. Now let's be honest, Formella doesn't have a massively global name. However, this was an acid test for him. And Formella is known for going the distance with Sean Porter. Not many welterweights can say they've gone the distance with Sean Porter. So for Conor Benn to go in there and win by a unanimous decision and look comfortable doing it, he was very sharp, popping off the jab really well, throwing the right, throwing the left hook, throwing the straight right. He looked really good. One thing you could maybe say about Conor Benn, he fights emotional, and you could see that in times in this fight. However, that emotion, that maturity that's starting to come into his game now, let's be honest, we want him to keep on winning, and we also want another British fighter to keep on winning. Yes, Josh Kelly. Let's let these two men meet. There's bad blood there, there's rivalry there, and what a fight that would make for. We have to see it. Now we're going to speak about Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut, versus Triple D, the Dynamite Daniel Dubois. Billed as the British heavyweight fight of the year, and it did live up to some of the speculation. It did live up to some of the hype. But the favourite was the person who had to take the knee. And the irony of it all was that Daniel Dubois was saying some really, really untasty things about Joe Joyce, his mum being blind. And he had to stop the fight because he had his eyes shut by the Juggernaut. Now, going into the fight, I'll be honest, I had Daniel Dubois to stop Joe Joyce within 5 rounds, but it just wasn't to be. Joe Joyce would not be denied. And after around 3 rounds of this fight, we saw Daniel Dubois start to look up at the clocks and look around, and he just looked absolutely out of it. He looked like he'd been mentally broken by Joe Joyce. He was landing on Joe Joyce, but Joe Joyce was eating the punches and still coming forward. And let's be honest, Joe Joyce beat Daniel Dubois with just his jab. He didn't really land too many hooks, didn't land too many crosses, but he destroyed him with a jab. A massive learning curve for Daniel Dubois. And we'll see if he can come again. He's really young, so he's got that on his side. And maybe in hindsight, you could say him taking a knee and not continuing with a badly injured eye is a smart bit of movement for his career. However, Joe Joyce, can he be a player again? Number 2 with the WBO, can he capture a world title? Or will it just be another career that has a fantastic amateur pedigree but doesn't quite cut it the professional ranks? We hope not. We'd love to see Joe Joyce do some amazing things, but only time will tell. And me personally, I cannot wait. And now we end with the fight that everyone was talking about. Mike Tyson a few months ago put out a couple of training clips of him training. 2.5 billion hits later, he's in the ring with y'all must have forgot, Roy Jones Jr, pound for pound legend. Iron Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Let's be honest, it's the sort of thing you do on, a little boxing game. Oh, let's couple these two up. What an amazing fight that would have been. Well, we saw it. Yes, I know what you're saying, they weren't in their prime. But I'll be honest, I'm in my 30s, they're in their 50s. They look better than I do. They look a lot better than I do. And it was a great fight while it lasted. 8 rounds. 8 rounds between 2 50-plus-year-old men who have had amazingly good careers, and they put on a hell of a show. They really did. Now, it was an exhibition fight. There were so many things going into the fight. Was it this rules? Was it that rules? Mike Tyson just said, look, I'm going in there to fight. I'll learn about the rules on the day. Roy Jones Jr. said, if I get knocked down, it's all out war. Now, neither of those things happened. Everything was cool. However, the decision went to a draw and neither man was happy. But let's be honest, we don't want them to be happy. We've got one killer in Mike Tyson and one of the most competitive pound for pound legends ever to have boxed, Roy Jones Jr. Neither of them are going to be happy with a draw. But does this mean, they do it again? Does Mike Tyson fight someone else in the Legends League? Does Roy Jones Jr. fight someone else in the Legends League? All I know is, I'm so happy to see these two men healthy, happy and fit and fighting. And you know what? I may be being a bit cheeky here, but I wouldn't mind seeing them fight again or fighting someone else. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now on to December. Ho, 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 Christmas is coming. But first, we've got some amazing fights. So before you know, you set out your biscuits or your cookies and your milk for Santa, we want to speak about some fights. And the first fight I'm going to speak about is Figueiredo versus Moreno. These men both fought on the card in November and are having a really quick turnaround. In fact, so far in the history of UFC, is the quickest turnaround for a title fight between two men who fought on the same card. Amazing, amazing application by both men. And again, Figueiredo looks like he's unstoppable in the 125-pound division, but the number one ranked Moreno looks like an absolute killer. And it's going to be a really, really tough test for Figueiredo. But if he comes through this, he becomes a superstar. And when I say superstar, not just a Brazilian superstar, a global superstar. And with fights on the horizon with your likes of Cody Garbrandt, and then potentially moving up to 135 to challenge whoever is the title holder at the time, the world is at his feet. The world is at his feet, and it's going to be an amazing fight between Figueiredo and Moreno. Also, on that same card will be Ferguson versus Oliveira. Two submission specialists, but two guys who love to strike. It's a recipe for absolute brutality, but phenomenal fighting. Both men can take a punch. Both men can dish out a punch. Both men have a variety of techniques when it comes to striking, but on the ground is where they both shine. Dash chokes, guillotines, rear naked, arm bars, leg locks. They've got the full repertoire. I cannot wait to see this fight. And this fight could really, really go a long way to molding that 155-pound division and seeing who the next contender is and who could potentially be the next title holder after Khabib retired recently. I can't wait for this fight. Oh, I'm salivating just thinking about it. Edwards versus Chimaev. Leon Edwards was meant to fight Tyron Woodley before the pandemic started. If he had won that fight, he'd have probably got a title shot. He still hasn't fought this year. And now he's stepping into the ring with Chimaev, who, let's be honest, before the lockdown, no one even knew about. Now he's one of the biggest stars in UFC. I can't wait to see this fight. However, what's in it for Leon Edwards? Because let's be honest, Chimaev is only ranked 15th. Leon Edwards is ranked 2nd. If he wins this fight, does it really guarantee him a title shot? But then again, if he does win it, he kills a hype train and he takes all of the glory that Chimaev has worked for and he brings that onto himself. And that could be what he needs to catapult him to the next level of superstardom. Because let's be honest, he's got the talent, he's just not well known globally. Maybe that's what stopped him getting a title shot. So if he wins this and he wins in convincing fashion, then who knows? Who knows? Rocky could be getting a title shot in the UFC's welterweight division. It's going to be a phenomenal fight. Plus, we're going to see if Chimaev is really hype or really about it. And a special mention to our good friend Jack Grant, who'll be facing his toughest challenge against Sadari as he tries to capture the 155-pound world title in Cage Warriors. Jack, we're all rooting for you. The title that Conor McGregor held before he moved over to the UFC, we know you can do it. And Jack has already said that he'll be joining us for an episode of No Cap Recap to actually review his fight after it happens. So Jack, we're all rooting for you. We know you can do it. Let's bring it home, Jack. We have an action-packed December with some amazing bouts in boxing. Murray versus Saunders, eagerly anticipated fight. We've been waiting a few years for this fight, so we're really happy to finally see it. Okolie challenging for his first world title against Glowacki. Let's do this, Okolie, you got this, buddy. And then the three big ones, Spence versus Garcia, Joshua versus Pulev, and Canelo versus Smith. So I'm going to start with Spence versus Garcia. 147-pound weight category, the welterweights, the category that Mayweather made famous, let's be honest. What a fight this is going to be. Left hook of Danny Garcia, I mean, all you have to do is ask Amir Khan. All you have to do is ask Zab Judah. The guy can crack. But Spence, so technically gifted. He used to train with Mayweather, used to train with Broner. Hasn't lost yet, looked brilliant in his last fight. However, the question everyone is asking, how is he going to come back after that horrific car accident he had? Will Spence be the same? Will he have lost a little bit of his edge? Will he still have his speed? Will he still have his strength? Will he still have his power? No one knows. All we do know is, if Spence can get through this hard test, it's got to be him versus Crawford. That's all we do know. to settle it once and for all. Who is the best at 147 pounds? I can't wait for the fight. Danny Garcia always comes to fight. Spencer's a technical wizard. It's going to make for absolute fireworks. I cannot wait. Now we speak about the world heavyweight champion, AJ, Anthony Joshua taking on Pulev. This fight should have happened back in June, but obviously we know what's been going on in the world and it's been pushed back, but we finally get to see it in December. This is a big, big test for AJ. Let's be honest, when Pulev fought Klitschko, he gave him real trouble. However, Klitschko got through it. AJ has to do the same. Let's be honest, the fight in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, that's the one we all want. That's the one we all need. But in order for that to happen, Pulev has to be defeated and has to be defeated convincingly. Otherwise, AJ might not get that Tyson Fury fight that we all want and need. But if anyone can do it, AJ can. He's looked really good in training, really good in camp. He looks back to his speed, looks back to his strength. He should have all the attributes to dispatch of the challenge of Pulev. But you know what? This is heavyweight boxing and one punch can change everything. But I just can't wait. Nothing like a heavyweight tear-up. Nothing like it. The Mexican king himself, Canelo Alvarez, taking on Liverpool's own Callum Smith, one of the 4 Smith brothers. Now, I'll be honest, I'll just be honest with you. I think Callum's a great name. So straight away, I think Callum's in with a chance of winning this. I mean, I'm not biased at all. And he supports Liverpool. What more could you want? But he's fighting one of the greatest to do it, Canelo Alvarez, who has looked unstoppable recently. In fact, since his fight against Floyd Mayweather, he's just gone from strength to strength. Cotto, Golovkin twice, Danny Jacobs, Kovalev. The guy has been destroying people, not just beating them, stopping them. Can Callum Smith be that antidote to Canelo? Canelo's switch dancing, his ability to ride shots and his defensive mastery against Callum Smith's power, his strength, the European style of being straight and upright but also having the fundamentals down to a T. It's going to make for an amazing fight, and if Callum Smith can pull this one out of the bag, he becomes a global superstar. However, will it be rinse and repeat for Canelo, who just seems to be dispatching anyone in his way at the moment? And if he does win, what's next for Canelo? What else does he have to achieve? Who fights next? We really don't know. I can't wait to see it. December's gonna be amazing. I cannot wait. Christmas has come early. Christmas is for the whole month in December if you're a boxing and MMA fan. What a month. Guys, I hope you're looking forward to all the fights in December as much as I am. But before we sign off, for a chance to win a month's supply of Neuroptimax products, all you have to do is comment below with your prediction for AJ Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. That's all you have to do. Follow us on Instagram, follow Neuroptimax on social media as well. Don't forget to smash the like button for this video, comment and subscribe. My name is Callum. Thank you very much for watching Thebxnco, and until next time, we'll see you soon, people.